Hello students, I am Dr. Pinky Prasad, Assistant Professor, Department of Botany, Patna Women's College, Autonomous. Today, we shall study about cross-pollination. Pollination is a very significant process as it helps in fertilization by bringing the male gametes, that is the pollen grains, closer to the female gamete, that is the egg, and allowing their fusion. It results in the production of seeds and fruits and thereby help in reproduction and generation of new offsprings. Cross-pollination is defined as the transfer of pollen grains from the anther of a flower of one plant to the stigma of the flower of another plant. Here, two different parent plants are involved. Thus, cross-pollination helps in the introduction of new variations in plants and contribute to evolution. Since pollen grains cannot travel from one flower to another on their own, so there are some agents which help in their movement. These include biotic agents like insects and animals that help in pollination, and abiotic agents like wind and water. Pollination taking place by insects is collectively called as entomophily, and a specific name is given when done by a specific organism, like when pollination takes place by bees, then it is called as hymenopterophily. When by butterflies, then is called as psychophily. When by moth, then it is called as phelinophily. By flies, myophily, by ants, myrmecophily, and so on. Likewise, pollination by animals is collectively called as zoophily, and when it takes place by birds, then it is called as ornithophily. When by bats, then it is called as chiropterophily. When by snail, then melecophily. When by snake, then ophiophily, and by elephant it is called as elephophily, and so on. Abiotic agents include wind and water. When pollination takes place by wind, then it is called as anemophily, and when it takes place by water, then it is called as hydrophily. Hydrophily is further categorized into hypohydrophily when pollination takes place below water level, and epihydrophily when pollination takes place at the surface of water. So, accordingly there are four main types of cross-pollination based on the agent of pollination, namely entomophily, that is pollination by insects, zoophily, that is pollination by animals, anemophily, pollination by wind, and hydrophily, pollination by water. Flowers in which pollination takes place by insects are called as entomophilous flowers. Adaptations in entomophilous flowers. The entomophilous flowers are colorful, showy, and scented to attract the insects. Usually the petals of the flowers are brightly colored, as in viola, orchids, rose, etc. But sometimes other floral parts become colored and attractive, like bracts in bougainvillea and spathe of the inflorescence in musa. Sunflower, lavender, etc. have nectar, and some flowers like night jasmine, which blossom at night, possess sweet smell that attracts the insects when all other features are not visible. These are the photos of entomophilous flowers. Adaptations in zoophilous flowers. The pollen grains of zoophilous flowers are sticky so that they adhere to the body of the animals and carried from one flower to another. These are the photos of zoophilous flowers. Characteristics of anemophilous flowers. Flowers are small, inconspicuous, never showy, and do not emit any scent or secrete any nectar. Why? Because they do not have to attract insects. Since the agent for pollination is wind, therefore the pollen grains are very light, non-sticky, and sometimes winged to be easily carried by the wind. They are produced in large quantities to ensure pollination. Examples include bamboo, pine, etc. The pollen grains of pine are winged. These are the photos of anemophilous flowers. Floral adaptations in hydrophilous flowers. Like the anemophilous flowers, here also the flowers are colorless, small, inconspicuous, without nectar and fragrance because they do not have to attract insects. Pollen grains are long, ribbon-like structures which are carried with current of water. The pollen grains are light but covered with wax in order to protect them from wetting. Examples of hypohydrophily include Hydrilla, Ceratophyllum, etc. and that of epihydrophily include Vallisneria. These are the photos of hydrophilous flowers. With this, we come to the end of the topic cross-pollination. Thank you.